it goes, I can't hear your words because your actions are speaking too loudly. So we always want to be aware of that. And so I usually try to disclose to you guys everything that's in my portfolio, so that there's no secrets or anything like that. And that's not saying you got to go out and do it or not do it. I'm not saying that, but at least so that it's transparent what's in the portfolio. So as far as an outlook, everybody always do your homework, do your research. Okay, always do your research, and on anything, whether it's something I say or something someone else says or something you heard or something you read. Always go back and do your homework and your research, because there's nothing that will substitute for that. Investing is more than just picking this stock or picking this ETF and so forth. It is. And it's different for everyone. Some of you guys will enjoy having more of a hands-on approach. And some of you guys probably just feel more content if you just maybe put the money in there or have it auto-debited from your account or something like that, and it's automatically being invested. And that is cool, nothing wrong with that at all. For years and years and years, that's what I did myself. And the reason why is I didn't have time. I didn't have time to be hands-on with the stuff every day. So, I've been in index funds and things like that for a long time. Also, I knew the data. I knew the data is that's simple, it's low cost, and a lot of fund managers don't even outperform that. So if you got a fund manager that outperforms it, he's doing well. And you guys, a lot of you guys actually have the ability, if that's your interest, to outperform, because some of you guys are so smart. And in a lot of investing, once you actually learn more about it and get comfortable, you will see, does this make sense? I mean, just the fact that you guys can walk down the street and not get mugged, that tells me that you have plenty of awareness. And if you've got that much awareness, you can have enough awareness to know that if something smells good or smells bad with an investment and that type of things. So in regards to that,
breaking up.
Well, okay, breaking up again. Seems like it happens every time, doesn't it? Still breaking up?
You're fine on my end.
Okay. Let me continue. We want to establish a plan.
You're breaking up really bad.
Real bad. You know what? I'll keep talking, and then some of it I can go back and repeat.
Michelle, it might be on your end. It's coming through okay to me.
Okay. So, and I've talked about this before, is establishing a plan, and I'll keep talking about it, establishing a plan. And that plan is what's going to help you maintain your disciplines. So a part of the plan is literally deciding where you think things are going to go. Okay? And if things go the way you think they're going to go, what's your plan? Also, what do you have as a hedge? What if you think things are going to go one way and they don't? Okay? What's your plan for that? So you want to look at all of that. You want to look at trends. You want to look at forecasts. You can read what all the analysts are forecasting. And then in the end, you're going to have to make your own decision. It's almost like if you're the president. Let's say if you're the president of the United States, well, you have a bunch of people that come to you and they lay it out, what their understandings is and what their recommendations are. And from that, what you do is you discern which ones you want to go with, which ones you don't want to go with, which ones you think the most credibility and so forth. It's really not even different than that with investing. It's because you can go and you can read what all these analysts say, and then ultimately you're going to have to make the decision as far as what makes sense to you. And on every single investment, there's several places you can go. You can go to Barron's, you can go to Morningstar, you can go to a lot of places, Yahoo Finance and so forth. The ones that try to charge you money, you guys, like Motley Fool and things like that, I would recommend that you don't do it, okay? Because I don't see how it's a good use of money. I mean, they have this clickbait and they have you click all these places, and these are going to be the top 2 stocks, blah, 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 blah. And, after they separated you from your money, they give you some warmed up information, almost like what the sports bookies used to do, is they give half the people one tip, then the other half the other tip, and the one who's going to for sure make money is them. So just do not go for that. Just have my uncle's approach. Just try to pay for as little as you have to. I mean, they don't know much more than you do. They really don't. There's a couple cats on TV, the Nigerian brothers, spelled Najari. And I went to school with them at Central, and they're on CNBC every day. The ones on there now are Peter and David, right? Peter and David, there was 4 of them, and 2 of them passed. May they rest in peace. But Peter and David are on CNBC. Nice guys. I like them. We were all, friends and friendly and things like that. And they're on there every day, and they're hawking their book. And you look on there and you think, oh my, but these guys must really know what they're talking about. Let me sign up for this program and pay this, $600 or $700. Let me get these books and all that, Okay. And I'll tell you the way that I view that is the same way that when they're interviewing an attorney and my wife is looking at it. An attorney is basically just reading some generic script or whatever. And I think most guys know my wife's an attorney. She's like cutting her eyes, basically without saying anything. She's like saying, really, seriously? You can give anybody that little script and they can read it and sound like they know what they're talking about. So just don't believe all is that. I went to school with these dudes at the same time, same school, and had better grades than they did. Flat out, period. You can chop that up any way you want to chop it up. So anyway, at some point, you're going to have to make some decisions and then base your investments accordingly to those decisions. So I'll tell you what my decisions have been, because you hear about a lot of analysts, oh, we got a big bubble. Basically, bubble means you pop the bubble and all heck breaks loose, okay? And it's just disaster all the way down. So you'll hear plenty of people screaming that there's always going to be those chicken little people. And then you'll hear the other side, and they're like, oh, everything is going straight to the moon, and there are never any words and all that. You hear that. And then, everything in between. These are my thoughts. My thoughts are, and consider, this is for educational purposes, just so you know. Do not invest any of your money without doing your own research. These are my thoughts. My thoughts are that we're in a bull market now. Ta-da, we know that. I believe that we're in the first third of that bull market. I think that there is significantly more upside to go there, and I will give you all the reasons. I want to backtrack just briefly, and if you guys see the blue writing there, Black Lion took profits in a couple big moves this past week. Tilray was up 235%, and I did give that to you guys more than a week ago. It's a cannabis stock. And Bitcoin was up nice also. So what we did was we took profits on both of those and we dollar cost averaged down. And I'll spend more time as the weeks go with the various profit-taking strategies and all that, and had a good conversation with my niece and some of my daughters just last week, just about some of that. But just the Cliff Notes version is, as far as profit taking, no one ever went broke taking profits. Okay, no one ever went broke taking profits, and I've said this a lot, and I'll continue to say this a lot, is that pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Okay, so the people that see things going to the moon and they don't take profits, they're letting their greed get in the way. So to give you an example on something like that, when it goes, I mean, I'll tell Ray, I've been on it for a while, and 235% in just a few days, that's like just crazy, all right? And so once it started going up, I took some out, okay, because I'd already made my money over several times. So basically what I tell my daughters is the amount you put in, if it goes way up like that, the amount you put in, just take that amount out, put it in your pocket, the bank, another account, or in something else, whatever you want to do. You know, whatever you want to do. Go buy you a purse, whatever, it doesn't matter. But take that. Okay, now you're playing with house money. And it's going to help you sleep better, and you'll be more confident with the turbulence to come, because anything that spikes up like that is not going to keep spiking up like that, okay? What goes up must come down, just as I thought. It started coming down. It didn't come all the way down, but it came down, and the reason why it came down is people like me taking profits. Now, when it came down, what did I do? Okay, I took money out, all right, and I just set it aside, but I didn't set all of it aside. I kept a part of it, and I dollar cost average down. Okay, so what do you mean by dollar cost average down? Well, I like the stock, obviously. I've been sitting on it. I feel real good about it. There's a lot. I mean, it's the biggest cannabis company. More and more states are approving it all along. You got Democrats in the presidency, which tend to be more favorable for the cannabis stocks, and there's a lot of momentum. I don't even have time to tell you their full story, so you guys go ahead and research. So I've liked it for a while, okay? And so if I liked it when I originally bought it, and I liked it when it went up, when it goes down, I still like it. So I took some of that money and I put some of it back, and it's going back up again. Same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin went up, I took some out, let it go down, bought back in. It's almost like stealing, I'm telling you. That's a strategy that you guys can do over and over and over again. And as time goes by, you'll grasp that. Now, remember I said that some of you guys, you're not gonna wanna be hands-on like that. And that's okay, nothing wrong with that. I mean, you could literally open an account at Acorn or something like that and leave it alone, seriously, because Acorn does all of that investing for you. You know, I got one of those as well as, you know, several other accounts, and I have nothing bad to say about them at all. I don't put that much there because I am kind of a hands-on person, but, you know, everybody's not. I mean, I have one of my daughters, she's like, yeah, I kind of like that, just putting it in there and leaving it. I'm like, that's cool, nothing wrong with that at all. Then you can go and do whatever you got to do. So getting back to things, where I see the market going, I do think it's going to be a fairly major run. I think that we're going to continually reach new highs in all the major indexes. That's what I think. And so why do I think that? You know what, I just pulled I flipped the coin. I flipped the coin, and that's what the coin said. No, that's not true. The reasons why I see that is, one is there's a lot of pent-up demand due to COVID. There's a lot of pent-up demand. And there's high savings liquidity. And what I mean by high savings liquidity, I know a lot of us probably struggling just to try to survive, but there's a whole lot of our white counterparts they're not really hurting at least financially. And what they've done and what they always do anytime there's uncertainty in the market is they take that money and they sock it away. They either put it in their savings account or something like that because they feel uncertain, they're not sure what to do. And so in uncertain situations, what's human nature do? Let's take that little nest egg, let's just take that little money we set aside for a rainy day, and let's just sit on it till we can figure out what's gonna happen. Okay, so you have, liquidity is high out there. And what I mean by liquidity is just money sitting around waiting for somewhere to go, almost like water, it's looking for a place to go. Number 3, increased investor sentiment. Investors are getting more and more positive all the time, more and more positive. People are feeling better and better and better about investing, stock market, things like that. And those intangibles will always affect the market one way or another. Many new investors, what are you guys? Some of you guys are new investors, but it's not just you. I mean, you read every week in the paper about, Reddit and things like that, where, you got a lot of these people, they're on that Reddit platform and they're reading that information and trying to do what Reddit tells them to do and so forth. And a lot of those guys, like I said before, are like babies with a bazooka. They're out there investing, but they're gambling. They don't really know what they're doing. It's like a little baby, you got that big bazooka and you're trying to trade it, and they're out there just listening to rumors and whispers. And remember, you guys, never do that. If your friend at lunch gives you a rumor, please do not just automatically pull out your phone and put money into that. And if you do not tell me. Do not tell me that, okay? Because the face that I make will probably make you mad. That's fine, listen, but go home and research it. If you go home and you research it and you like it, then go ahead and do it. But don't do anything without checking for yourself, because what's comfortable for one person may not necessarily be comfortable for another person. Number 5, good market performance under difficult circumstance. I've yet to come across a person who feels that 2020 was a great year. I haven't come across that yet. So I don't need to go into all the different reasons why 2020 was such a challenging year on so many fronts, okay? So basically, in a nutshell, is you got this year that just so many people just want to forget about it, all right? What happened in the stock market? The stock market still went up. Now that right there is some serious resiliency. Okay, so if you have all these crazy things going on in the economy, and just in the environment, in the country, and being shut down twice, that is really hard on a lot of businesses, just to be shut down. And you guys know that, you don't need me to tell you that. But under those circumstances, and the market is still going up, so if it's going up when things are as bad as they can be, when things get a little bit better, when there are more vaccines out there, or when more people are back to working, when the economy is turned back on, is there a chance that maybe it'll continue to do well, maybe even better? Number 6, the interest rates right now are very, very low. They're extremely low. So you're like, well, how does that affect the stock market? Well, like I said, view money is like water, okay? View it like water. It needs somewhere to go, okay? Bonds are directly affected by interest rates. Fixed income investments are directly affected by interest rates. There are certain times that bonds are a really nice place to be, and certain times they're a mediocre place to be, and certain times it's just not a very good place to be. I'll give you an example. Back in the 80s, when Jimmy Carter was president, interest rates were actually very high. Okay, so that affected a lot of things because people's mortgage was high and all of that type of stuff, right? But here's the flip side of it. The money that you invested was getting a higher return too. I mean, because there were treasury bonds and other various bonds that were paying like 13, 14, 15%. And think about it. Back then, there was nothing considered safer than a U.S. Treasury bond. And so you literally could just put your money in a bond. You didn't even have to worry about if it's going to go up or down. It didn't even matter, okay? Because when that coupon comes due, that's the amount that you get. And think about this, for the people that bought the 30-year treasuries, basically what it means if you buy a 30-year treasury is whatever rate of that treasury you buy at that time, you are locked in there for 30 years. I mean, if you keep it, you can still sell it for 30 years. Now, if you bought a 30-year treasury back then, you're looking like a genius, okay? You're looking like a genius. Now, if you buy one now, maybe not so much because they're paying less than 2%. So it tends not to be a good deal. The bond rates that are being paid right now is less than inflation. And we talked about that a little bit, last week. I mean, a picture of inflation is you take your money, you put it in a tin can, and you come back and you pull that tin can out 20 years later, you go try to buy something. Well, guess what? It's not going to buy the same things for the same price. That's inflation, okay? So if you're making less than 2% on your investments, you're not outpacing inflation, which means that you're going backwards. So that's good for stocks and equities because that money has to go somewhere. Number 7, I just hit that, flight from fixed income. Fixed income is bonds. You even got blue hairs even coming out of bonds now. Blue hairs are what we used to call, like the old rich women, widows and things like that. We call them blue hairs. And usually they're investing in like super, super conservative things. They're coming out of them now. We talked about inflation already, talked about liquidity and unrealized gains, okay? What we mean by unrealized gains is, unrealized gains fears. So in other words, let's just say, it's almost like opportunity cost. So they're stuck, their money's just sitting, maybe just sitting in cash, or maybe in bonds or something like that. And they see these young Black Lion members just killing it, okay, just killing it, doubling their money every, 4 or 5 months or whatever, just killing, not doing anything legal, but just killing it. And they're sitting there and watching that. And basically what they're doing is they're like, why am I doing this? And everybody else is over there killing it. All right. And so that's another reason for more monies to flow into the market. And number 11, short squeezes. So I think some of you guys are probably, still trying to understand that. And that's a lot to understand right now. Like I said, the more we get into this stuff and we continue to talk about it, the more it will kind of settle in. But it's someone's predicting the stock is going to go down, and they're taking that position without actually owning the stock. Okay, so if that stock does not go down, let's just say it goes the other way and it goes up. Well, basically what they did was they sold stock. They made a commitment to sell stock. They didn't have assuming it will go down and it will be a better deal for them. All right, they make money on it. Well, if it's going the opposite way, at some point they're going to have to go and they're going to have to actually purchase that stock so that they can cover that position and make good on it. And so when they have to go back and buy that stock in an unplanned manner at a higher price, that's called a short squeeze, because that automatically gives the stock another bounce up. Automatically gives it another bounce up. And we'll keep visiting things like that. So you're going to see more short squeezes. This is why you're going to see more short squeezes, because the market is hot. It's hitting all-time highs now. And we talked about, what do you think the market's going to do? Okay, well, I told you, I think we're going to be in a bear for a while. Now, I also want to preface it this way. I think we're going to be in a bear market for a while, continue to go up, but I think the corrections will be violent. And what I mean by that is, if the market jumps way up, say if it goes up, let's say it goes up 30 points or whatever, it could make a violent movement down the next day, boom, 20 points, and so forth. And so it's always fun going up. But like Mike Tyson says, everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the face. So when you take that violent movement down, you have your plan that you're going to stick to your disciplines. How are you going to just freak out and do what the average person does? And the average person does, like I said many times, and I'll say many more times, how do you make money in the market? You buy low, you sell high. Doesn't sound that complicated, right? What's human nature? Human nature is buy high, sell low. The reason why human nature is that, because when everything is zooming and all the talk is, oh, wow, this is great, you need to get some of this. This is great, you need to get some of this. You go in there and you buy it at the top. And then shortly thereafter, boom, it comes tumbling down and you're freaking out, oh my God, I might lose all my money. Oh, I gave my rent money. Oh, I got to get out. Okay, well, guess what? You just sold at the low and goes right back up. It goes right back up. So make sure you have a plan, because at those moments of correction, you're going to have to look in the mirror and say, what is my plan? Okay, so like when Telray went up 235 points, I had my plan. Bitcoin went up pretty good. I had my plan. I had white dudes texting me. Oh, hey, so Bitcoin went up, now it's going down. So when do you buy back in? I just told them the truth. I just said, I took profits, just like a lot of other people, and I'm dollar cost averaging down. So I don't have to predict when it's going to go back up, because if I liked it when it was up here, when it's down here, I really like it. So our dollar cost average is going right back up, and I feel like I'm stealing. And then the market frenzy, that all works in together. So if the market does juice up, like I think it will, you're going to have that market frenzy. But just as long as you can stomach those violent temporary corrections, and if you can't, just don't do that. Like I said, just get you a group of ETFs or a index fund, and you can dollar cost average into that, and you'll be just fine. You will be just fine, and you don't have to, get your nerves up or anything like that, because everybody doesn't do all of that the same. Does anyone have any questions before I go to the next part?
Hello, James. Hello, James. This is Jordan.
Hey, Jordan, my man, Jordan.
Quick question. So when you're taking profits, when those stocks go up, are you basically selling that portion? You're selling that portion off, or is that something different?
What we're going to do in the upcoming weeks is we're going to literally go through more detailed profit-taking strategies and things like that. But like just generally speaking, what I was telling my daughters last week, we had a nice little conversation. is that, especially if you got like a big increase, like with tail rate, 235% in just a few days. So what I tell them, and I can give advice to my kids, I tell them the amount of money that you put in initially, take that out, you know, or if you want to, even a little bit more than that, you know, and put it away, because now you're on house money. So let's just say, okay, say it went up, okay, say it went up just, well, like that. If you want to take more than your initial amount out, you can take maybe that times and a half out. So, or you can even take, you know, 200% on it if you want to, whatever you prefer, whatever makes you comfortable, because you have that plan up front, and we'll get into that. Where we'll literally have targets, so when it hits some of these targets, it's not like we're surprised, because that's what we were hoping and that's what we're planning on it. So when it does, we already know what we're going to do. So all I can really do is speak for myself. What I did was I took my original investment out, and then I waited, waited for it to come down. And as it was going down, I was putting little pieces back in as it was coming down. The other half, I just kept out. I just, what I did was I asset allocated, and I put it in different places. That's what I did. So part of that, as far as I took profits, I dollar cost average back in at a lower price, and it's going back up. So I'm already making money on that. Another part I just took out for good. Remember this, you guys just learn this and just keep it close to you all the time. At a moment's notice, it should just come to your mind. And that is, no one ever went broke taking profits. No one ever went broke taking profits. Does that help at all, Jordan?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right. And you know, office hours and all of that, you know, we can chop it up on this type of stuff too. And remember, as the coming weeks go, we're going to get more detailed into that. I didn't even really want to get too into the profit taking thing, because I didn't want us to get skewed from the primary topics for the night. Any other questions? Okay, no other questions? Okay, all right. Getting back to how Black Line is invested. We talked about the various ways that a market can go and so forth. And you have different people thinking it's going to do different things. And at some point, as the president of your corporation, you're going to have to decide where you think it's going to go. Okay. So I told you my personal perspective on that. So also in line with that, trends. What trends do I see? I didn't read this anywhere or anything like that. This is what the trends that I see. I see a trend toward cryptocurrency. We've talked about that before. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I see trends toward cannabis companies. I see trends toward investing in China. So what it says is, it says China Select. And what I mean by China Select is that all companies are not created equal, okay? So you will have to go through there and see the ones that you like. You know, we all have certain ones that we like for certain reasons, but China is like just killing it. They came from nowhere to now they're the second largest economy in the world. And the projections is that by 2025, they will be the same or they will surpass the United States. Did you hear me? Projections 2025, China's economy will be the same or will surpass the United States. So it's growing, and it's growing really fast. 20 years ago, the United States had really about 99% more billionaires than China 20 years ago. Right now, it's 1.4 to 1. By 2025, data shows that China will have as many or more billionaires than the United States. So there's a lot of money being circulated over there, and there's a lot of pockets. So if you can figure out where some of those little profitable pockets are, you can ride part of that wave too. Biotech genomes. So on biotech genomes, there's biotech companies, okay? But these particular biotech companies are specializing in gene research. And we're going to get into that a little bit later, because one of my favorite companies is called CRISPR. And that is a gene editing company. And you know what? I'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit now. Then that way I don't have to cover that later. But part of our strategies is, before we even start putting our money places, remember the plan. So part of the plan is, if you're putting something somewhere, why are you doing it, and what are you trying to achieve? Okay. So on my portfolio, I intentionally put some whales in there, you know, like the big boys that I know will be fine, you know, like Google, you know, and Amazon. They're not going anywhere. So, you know, I always like to have some of those, because I consider those like my anchors. Okay, and they pretty much assure me I'm not going to get wiped out. Okay, Google's not going anywhere. Just trust me on that one. Okay, and Amazon is not going anywhere. Trust me on that. And they're both going to continue to go up. I can confidently say that. Now, they're so big, they don't go up as fast. They don't go down as fast. All right, so I have companies like that, you know, it's just anchors, you know, as stabilizers for the portfolio. But depending on what you're trying to do as far as investments, returns, making money, and so forth, that determines how aggressive you're going to be or not going to be. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. At this point in time, I am back to an aggressive approach, not a careless approach, but a cautiously and hedging aggressive approach. And a lot of that's based on timing and a lot of the things that I see. So CRISPR is one of those that I'm sitting on, and I will continue to sit on, because I have optimistic projections. What I mean by that is, let's just say Amazon or even Google. Let's say if you bought Amazon or Google 15 years ago. If you bought 100 shares of Amazon 15 years ago, or 100 shares of Google 15 years ago, and either you sat on it or you just, you know, did our little profit-taking strategy, you will be extremely well off. And you did not start with a lot of money, but you were with a really good company fairly early, and you rode the wave up. Okay, you guys remember, I've lived this stuff. I've worked inside Wall Street investment firms. So I've seen a lot of these companies do that. And there have been plenty of them that I saw just continue to break new highs, break new highs, break new highs, break new highs, and listen to all these analysts with these MBAs constantly saying, well, they can't go any higher. I'll bet I heard them say that 1,000 times about Walmart. It just kept going higher and splitting, kept going higher and splitting, kept going. So at some point, turn the TV off, okay? And go to a quiet place, all right? And quiet yourself. And let your God-given gifts that you guys have of discernment make your decisions. Just because I see Peter Nigerian and John Nigerian on TV, that does not mean I'm going to stop what I'm doing and go out and do everything they say. Okay, and that's no disrespect. I like them. They're nice guys. But I was in the same locker room with them, the same classes with them, and did better. I ain't just talking. Those are facts. As somebody that went to Central High School. So don't be in awe of somebody because they're on TV. You guys, first of all, I genuinely applaud you for being here tonight. I really mean that. I genuinely applaud you for being here tonight because one of the things is you guys generally don't have somebody with my experience talking to you as your audience. You don't have it. You don't. You don't. There is nobody with a Wall Street education that's talking to you as an audience because it's not profitable to them. Think about it. It's not profitable to them. So anyway, don't worry about what these guys say. And another thing, keep in mind, motives. Okay, a lot of times they're saying things because they're already there, they're investing there. Now they tell you to go out and buy it. And so they can make money from you joining in. And then while you're still sitting there waiting for it to go to the moon, they're profit taking, they're profit taking, they're profit taking. That happened with this GameStop thing and all these, Reddit guys. And, I felt kind of bad, I mean, because I don't know. Anyway, I've talked about that before. But in a nutshell, you guys, once you get the knowledge, I'm telling you, a lot of you guys are going to be cold. I know that. All you need is just the knowledge. Once you get that knowledge, you guys are going to be cold. And so you'll be able to make your decisions. You'll be able to get the information and decide for yourself. And when you start doing that, oh my goodness, it's really going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. So we were talking about CRISPR. So another reason why I like CRISPR is that CRISPR, like I said, it's a genetics company. So basically what they've done is that they've actually isolated some genes, okay? Because we have, sometimes there's diseases that are caused literally by just one gene. It can be one defective gene and it can cause that, okay? For example, sickle cell is one defective gene. Out of all our genes, it's one defective gene, okay? And so what they can literally do right now already is they can go in and they can splice that gene, take away that defective gene, and basically they start to cure major diseases. Major diseases. Now, is this going to get through all the way through their stages? I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and act like I do know, okay? But some of the things that they got coming down the pipe right now already look promising. They've already performed this on one lady with sickle cell, and her sickle cell is gone away. So they'll have to go through all the different stages and things like that. But my point is, set a little bit aside for something that you consider promising, because let's just say, if I call that right, and I'm gonna preface this, I cannot 100% tell you that it's gonna be right. But from the research that I've done, you know what, I'm willing to swing at that. But let's just say if I'm right, and this thing pops, and it may not be for another year or 6 months or whenever, but when it does, you're not gonna be able to buy in because it'll go up so fast. And it's like all the other little issues with Robinhood, why people are mad about Robinhood now. And I don't even know why this is a new thing, because anytime there's violent movements in the market, up or down, you can never get your order placed with Robinhood anyway because you're little guys, okay? So the whole point being is if you want to participate in this stuff, you're gonna have to already be long in position there. What I mean by long in position, you're already gonna have to have your stock. If you already have your stock there ain't nothing Robinhood or anybody else can do. It's just that when everybody else jumps on that and it's going up, it's taking you with it, okay? If you want me to send you the screenshots, I can send you the screenshots of what my Telray did this week. And that's pretty much what I thought about that. It's like this cannabis, I'm just gonna sit right here, you know? And it's like the Peter Lynch theory, okay? And if you're gonna pick out companies, you wanna try to pick out the ones that are gonna be leading or close to the lead. Because in almost every industry, even though in the United States, monopolies are not supposed to be legal or whatever, think about it. There's usually a dominant company, okay? What's the dominant retail company? Walmart, okay? Amazon, they're dominant in their circle. So if you can pick the right dominant one, it's a great thing. And I don't want to emphasize picking too much because I don't want to get you guys on that, but sometimes you can do enough research and you can see something and you'll be like, that makes sense. Because any that you do like that and you're already long and they make that big bounce if you're right, that's going to make you well. And my plans for CRISPR, when it hits, is for it to be down payment on a property. Those are my plans. So moving on, emerging markets. Emerging markets are like, markets overseas, things like that. The reason why I like that is because remember how I told you about money being almost like water liquidity? It's looking for some place to go. And even Americans are realizing that we're not necessarily just the center of the universe now, okay? There are other people doing some things that are pretty impressive. Here's a sleeper for you. Here's a sleeper for you. And if anybody knew this, just text me or IM me afterwards and I'm gonna buy you lunch. But here's one. India. Don't sleep on India. Don't sleep on India. India is just sneaking up on everybody. India came from just poor, and privates. Go and look now. That economy is growing. Okay, and that is still considered emerging market, even though, they're growing like, gangbusters right now. Semiconductors. Semiconductors have been significant for a long time, and technology matters. Technology is going to continue to matter. So semiconductors are going to continue to make money because they need them for the computers. They need them. Right now, there's a shortage. There's literally a shortage right now. Jerry just said that Netflix got something on about India right now. I didn't know Netflix had that, but more people are starting to see them in the rearview mirror. I hear you, everybody. That's right. There's a whole lot of people over there. But as far as semiconductors, I was in the news this week that the American automakers, they're short on computer chips and they cannot get them in fast enough. So, that demand is not going away. Number 7, artificial intelligence. I encourage you guys to start digging in on that. And that's another reason that China is killing it. And they're actually ahead of America significantly on artificial intelligence. And there are more and more and more things done with artificial intelligence all the time, even on your phones. Those are using artificial intelligence. You guys got those phones now where it's got facial recognition. That's artificial intelligence. They have cars, and Tesla is had these cars on the road for a while that literally drive themselves. They drive themselves. I'm not making that up. And also, something significant is that there's a lot of money being invested right now as far as taxis, Uber-type vehicles, and things like that, picking you up, taking you where you want to go, and no driving. I'm not making that up. And this is why that's significant, because right now, when you take Uber, the average cost per mile is about $2. Okay. Once they get these vehicles going using artificial intelligence, that goes down to about 45 cents per mile. Do your work, folks. Do your work. Cybersecurity. Michelle, you know what's up with that. That's not going away.
No, it ain't.
Cybersecurity is not going away because that is a place that can either protect you or it can get you fleeced. And so another strong area of China, their cybersecurity is better than ours. And so monies have to go that way. And you don't have to be Einstein to know, oh man, these cybersecurity companies, they're gonna have to invest in them. They don't have a choice. So try to pick the winners. You have issues with the winners, come see me Tuesday between 1 and 3. Okay, potential hotspots. How am I doing on time here? It is, okay, I'm not doing too bad. Potential hotspots. And what I mean by hotspots are things that may be out of favor now, but I think could be pretty nice once the economy starts opening up and things like that. And one of them is the airlines. So think about it this way, almost like what I said about the market, is that with COVID, and if you own an airline, that is not your friend. I mean, that is hard. You run an airline company and they're shutting down the economy and telling people they can't travel and so forth. That is hard on your business. Hard on your business. So think about this. Is COVID going to be here forever? I don't know. Some people think it is. And it probably will be to some degree. But I don't know when, but I do feel like eventually the country is going to go back more toward, more regular employment, things like that. And they'll let people, fly and so forth at some point. I'm not going to try to predict the exact day. I don't know. And if somebody tells you they do, run, okay? Because they're dangerous. But we know that it's going to happen at some point. So think about this. That's been hard on the airlines. But you got some of those big dogs that when it's over, they're going to still be there. Okay? Look at my portfolio. Symbol DAL, Delta. Do you guys think Delta's going to go out of business in the next 6 months? Do you? I don't think they will. Okay? And they've endured some heavy hits. Okay? They've made moves to where they can stay in business. Okay? And some of these things that I get, like I said, are not necessarily about listening to analysts on TV. Some of it is sitting down and quieting myself. Okay? Just like what I recommend to you. And this is what I see with that, is that if they made these moves to where they can survive, let's think about myself. I'm a business owner, right? I'm a business owner, so I know how that perspective feels. And a good part of my strategy right now, quite candidly, is like Jim Valvano said, survive in advance, survive in advance, survive in advance, survive in advance. Because before COVID, my car dealership was killing them. I don't want that to come off the wrong way, but killing them. And I was making plans as far, do I want to open this, that, or blah, blah. And I'm sitting there in my mind, I'm just, thinking about, wow, where is that going to go, right? And I'm so happy and I'm so fortunate for my mentors, my cousin Bob Holly, and another one, Ken McNeil. A lot of you guys don't even know them, brothers, old dogs, been in the car business since Moby Dick was a minnow. My cousin Bob Holly was a sales manager back in like the 80s, okay? and Bob runs a internet company, basically, where he builds websites for dealerships and things like that, and they pay him to do it. Black dude, building websites for these dealerships. So you go on Black Lion Auto and you see my stuff, boom, smoking. Look at all them cars you got there. Guess what? Because I have access for it, okay? Because that's Bob is behind a lot of that, you know? But anyway, let me get back to the main point. The main point is that this is what Bob would say to me, and he treats me like I'm his little brother. Because I'm like, Bob, this is crazy. We're killing him, we're killing him, we're killing him. And this is what he'd say, and this is back before COVID. He's like, slow down, slow down, slow down. Keep your expenses down, keep your expenses down. You know, don't spend anything. Don't spend anything. Bob made me fire some people. I'm like, man, Bob, I don't like firing people. He's like, you don't need the expenses. I'm like, man. So, I mean, I'm sitting there, you know, talking under my breath, just like you do with your big brother or whatever. Talking under your breath. You ain't gonna, like, you know, say nothing smart to him in their face. I'm talking under my breath, go on, bite my lip and everything. Then I get home and I sit down and I think, I'm like, doggone it. Yeah, I guess he's right. Man, I guess he's right. So my guy, Kenny McNeil, before I opened the dealership, one of the first ones I called my buddy Tasha George. She's down in Atlanta, and I told her, hey, Tasha, I'm getting ready to open the dealership, blah, 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 blah. And she had one before. Hers was in New Hope before she moved. So she's like the only Black person I know really that had to own an independent dealership. So I want to know what she had to say. And I called her, and she says, hey, the first thing you need to do is you need to call Ken McNeil. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, call him. He's been there, done it, can help you avoid some traps. All right. So I call Ken and we connect and we have coffee and we chopping it up and all that kind of stuff. And today, I still call him regularly today. So, you know, I tell you guys, have a mentor, okay? Because if you hang around nine broke people, you'll be the 10th. That's just a fact. So get you some mentors. If you don't have any, all of y'all in Black Line got my number. I answer your calls. So anyway, talk to Ken regularly, and this is what he would tell me. And I think I'll go to my grave remembering this. He goes, Jimmy. I'm like, yeah. He's like, keep it small and keep it all. I'm like, but man, Ken, I'm thinking I want to grow and have like one of these big franchises buy me out for multi-million. He's like, brother, keep it small and keep it all. So fast forward, boom, a little bit after that, COVID hits. And I go from like killing it to all of a sudden it's like turning the faucet off. And I'm like, oh man. I literally called a couple of my daughters. They will attest to this. And I said, wow, you guys, I might have to close my dealership. I don't know. I don't see how this is going to work. And so hung up, everybody went to sleep. The next day they called me back. They called me back the next day and they said, Daddy, our whole lives, you've been telling us never give up. Our whole lives, even when we were little girls, you would never allow us to quit. So Daddy, we're shocked to hear those words coming from you. That was chilling to me. To have your kids say that, that was chilling to me. And it made me reflect and to quiet myself. And I'm like, you're right. I apologize, you're right. So I quieted myself and focused. And after I did that, it's like something came to me. And it's like, it's not that complicated. It is really not that complicated. And I'm like, what? It's not that complicated. No, it's not that complicated. So think about this. This is how the car business works. All car dealerships, they have these inventory of cars, okay? And they sell a car. So after they sell a car, what do? They replace the car. Okay? Sell a car, replace a car. Sell a car, replace a car. Basically, in a nutshell, because you're going through the auction, you're buying them, and the whole point is to try to replace the ones that you sell. Okay? So it's like, boom. Instead of selling a car, replacing a car, I'll sell a car, not replace it. 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 And you're like, wow, really? So you're not replenishing your inventory? It's like, no, not right now. It's like, why? Well, I want to look to the words of Jim Valvano. You guys, Google Jim Valvano. He's a coach of North Carolina State. Wolfpack. This guy pulled off like probably the biggest upset ever in NCAA basketball history. And that was his phrase, survive in advance, because those guys knew that everybody they played, they couldn't overlook, even if it's just some ordinary team. And so they couldn't even look ahead. They literally had to focus on that team and win that game, survive. They win that game and they advance. Win in advance. And before it's all said and done, when you've won the last game, you're the champion. So my approach was, okay, maybe I'm not growing like gangbusters, but guess what? I'm still in business. I know a lot of cats that have much higher profiles than me that are not in business. I'm still in business because I listen to my mentors. Kenny McNeil, keep small, keep it all. Bob Holly, you need to run lean. Don't spend unnecessarily money on things that you don't necessarily need that won't produce money in your business. You know, so we all need our mentors. So anyway, COVID is going to be over at some point. And this I know is that once it's over and things go back, guess what? I didn't close my doors, so I don't have to start all over. I don't have to reinvent myself somewhere else. I'm already set. And it's going to take off for a lot of dealerships. And I'll be one of them. I mean, you don't even have to be Einstein to know that. Once it breaks and people feel like they can go out and spend money and things like that, going to go back to killing it again. Going to go right back to it. So anyway, I say all of that to say this. Delta's just been doing that on a bigger scale, surviving in advance. They're not going out of business. They made the move so that they could stay in business. And so when things go back to normal, watch. They're going to be killing it. So anyway, enough time on that. Other potential hot spots. Real estate trust. I mean, real estate's always good. I think it's going to be particularly good coming up for a lot of reasons. One, I mean, look at Bill Gates trying to buy everything up. Research it, trying to buy everything up. Why? You know, land is a great asset. You know, you can pass it from generation to generation. It continues to appreciate, and scarcity is built in. They're not making any more of it. And it's tangible. It's tangible. It's there. You can go see it, feel it, touch it, walk on it. It's never a bad idea. And so a way you can do that without necessarily going out buying a bunch of buildings or whatever is just in the real estate trust. All right. You know, pick out a good one. Because just like everything else, you got good ones and you have bad ones. And then finally, green companies. Things are going that way. Okay. You got Democrats in the Oval Office, as well as in the House and the Senate. So there's going to be green tendencies. There's going to be green tendencies. So companies that are investing green, There's going to be a lot of public sentiment for them, and they're going to be treated better from the government also. And so there's going to be more incentive, and you'll have some of these companies that will come up with very nice creative solutions and can do some pretty cool things. So let's move toward the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are things that I view where you don't want to be. At least I don't. You guys can make your own decision. I don't want to be. Oil companies. I don't want to be oil companies for a lot of reasons. They're, to me, they're the definition of a dinosaur. Fossil fuels are going to be less in favor. They emit a lot of pollutions. We can go on and on and on and on and on and on. And personally, I think a lot of them are leveraged. And I think some of the books through the years, like Halliburton and things like that, have been cooked enough to where when things get a little bit more pressure packed, it might not be pretty. Department stores are out of favor. Certain things have happened with COVID where people are doing more shopping online and things like that. Some of that stuff is going to be permanent because I think more and more people are realizing, poof, I can pull out my phone, I can click a couple buttons on Amazon, it's here the next day, the price was fair, and if I don't like it, they'll take it right back. I didn't have to get in my car, drive somewhere, fight some crazy people at the mall, deal with some crazy people at the cashier or anything else. So it's going to be a tough road for the major department stores, in my opinion. Number 3, bonds and treasury notes. We talked about that already. Bonds is not what they used to be, okay? When you're getting 1% and 2%, that's just, it's not popular right now. This is not. And I'll tell you something else interesting about that, and you guys will see when we move on and you look at my portfolio mix, which is basically the pie chart of asset allocations. If you look at my mix right now, and you would have looked at that same mix 5 years ago, they would want to actually put me in a padded cell, okay? Because all the training from all of us that were sent to the schools, they sent me out east for 2 years. We were trained that proper asset allocation, you have to have, at a minimum for the most aggressive person, 1/3 fixed income. A lot of people had half their portfolio in fixed income. And if they were conservative, 2/3 or more in fixed income. And then from there, you play with the equities and maybe just a few little other investments and so forth. Well, Uncle James is changing that. I think eventually you might even see on TV some of the other analysts will finally go and finally admit that the earth is round, it's not flat. Now, I'll get to that in a minute, is that I have totally 100% taken fixed income out of my portfolio. You don't see that on TV yet. All you people that have 401k, they send this little analyst fresh out of school that's reading everything to you. He's, got his little slide charts and showing you how he's got it all, your asset allocation and blah, 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 blah. And saying, got half of it in fixed income because that's what he was told to. Well, he's telling you that because he was told to. It's getting to the point now where that just makes no sense at all. And we've talked plenty of times, fiat currency is going by. Okay, you can believe that or not believe it. It may take a while, okay, but it's going to eventually go that way. So we'll see which ones are stubborn and which ones aren't. if you guys have been doing research like I've asked you to, you already should be seeing some of that, okay? And it will be layered in bit by bit by bit. Okay. Now, this next chart, at least you can go ahead and flip it back. This is my Robinhood pie chart. And everything is not with Robinhood anymore. And we'll get into all of that later. I try to just, I try to make stuff up. So I've taken quite a bit out of Robinhood. Just kind of some of the personal reasons, some of the little skunky things that they've done. So I don't want to have like a big chunk there, but I don't mind having, smaller or modest amounts. I'm not too afraid of it. And full disclosure, they've never done anything to me. My transactions have always been great. They've been fast and they've been quick. Me and my wife, we were talking about this earlier. She's like, I don't know if I want to use Robinhood because it might take, 3 or 4 days for it to get to my bank. I'm like, oh, no, honey. I just push a button and it's there. Now, some of the others will, okay, like Cash App takes a little while to get to your bank account unless you opt to pay the fee and things like that. I'm not telling you what to do or not to do. Before all of this stuff happened a week or two ago, I loved Robinhood. It's full disclosure, I love them. Some of the little things have been going on. Yeah, okay, they're starting to maybe bother me a little bit too. So I did remove some money from it. But anyway, I printed this just to show you. Okay, fixed income bonds. Do you see any fixed income in my portfolio? None, zero. You see that picture? That's my real account at Robinhood, okay? So it's not just some stuff I'm just saying, okay? I have none there. And instead of 50% in fixed income, I replaced that with 50% crypto. You guys all know my thoughts on that. And I am not trying to convince anybody. This is just what I do. My daughters ask me, like, Dad, should we just put everything in Bitcoin? And I said, no, okay? Because we do not get away from our basic principles. And a basic principle is always going to be diversification. 50% is aggressive. That's ultra aggressive. That's aggressive enough. And if you're doing more than that, that's, super aggressive. And keep this in mind. Okay, you guys know what I think about Bitcoin and what I think it's going to do and so forth. But keep this in mind, is that the ride is not going to be smooth every day. And you just need to know this. Anything that's projected to go where that's projected, and it's around, I think, $48,000 per coin now. And there are plenty of reliable analysts that think at some point it's going to hit over $1,000 per coin. And I'm one of them. I think that it will eventually hit over $1,000 per coin. And it's at, over $1 million per coin. And it's at 48,000 now. So that's a long way to go. Because remember, I'm not talking 100,000. I'm talking, what did I say? $1 million per coin. Right now it's 48,000. Okay. So it'll get up to 50, 60, 70, 80, 100. Okay. We're talking once it gets to 100, times that by 10 more, okay, to get to $1 million per coin. That's the direction I think it's going to go. Is it going to do that this year? No. Is it going to do that next year? No. Is it going to do that the year after that? No. I just view that as long-term projections. That is not a recommendation. That is only my personal opinion. Okay. But if something is going to rise that aggressively, it is never a smooth ride. Because you are going to have violent corrections built into that. And you just got to make sure that you're comfortable with it. Just got to make sure you're comfortable with it. And so right here, this is real talk. It's a screenshot. Okay, so what am I up? I'm up 368%. Okay, that's real talk. So you get somebody like me popping off, I'm sitting there popping off. Y'all don't have nobody like me talking to you. I say that all the time. Sometimes my kids have to say, "Oh, Daddy, you need to maybe calm that down a little bit," or something like that. And I'll work on that. Okay. But what I'm saying is, this is not talk. You guys see what's actually going on here. I gave you guys Telray. I bet not too many of you listen. I know somebody that did, and they got money in the bank. I'm not going to mention his name. It happens to be one of my board of directors. Went up 235% last weekend, and I don't think it's done, because I don't think it's going anywhere. All right, so moving on. Our current holdings. I know there's quite a few things here, and you guys like, he's got all these stocks. Yeah, for better or worse, I do. So it might look up, dang, can he not make up his mind? Yeah, I just happen to like all of these, and it's working out. And I'll tell you something else. Remember we talked about that diversification? There's a lot of diversification here. There's diversification as far as large cap, mid cap, small cap, U.S. companies, overseas companies, technology companies, like I said, airlines, all types of things that are represented in here. And then to the far right, are the EFTs that I'm long right now. So I'm not, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these, but here I'll just say a little bit of something. I don't know, 5 seconds about each. Bitcoin, what I think about that. Ethereum, I like that too. And you guys end up doing your own things on the cryptocurrencies. Those are the only ones I'm throwing my money on right now. Even though my asset allocation profile is ultra aggressive right now, I'm not so aggressive that I'm just throwing it at speculative cryptocurrencies. And that's something that I predict is going to trip up a bunch of people. And that'll help give cryptocurrency a bad name too, because you got different ones coming out all the time. And there's more junk coming out than solid ones. Amazon, what I think about that is not going anywhere. It's not. If it goes down a little bit today or tomorrow, don't worry about it. Okay. A lot of you guys got Amazon accounts. Okay. Back to the Peter Lynch thing, something you know about. Okay. Telray, we talked about that plenty. Alphabet, that's the parent company of Google. And, that's another thing, buy what you know. We all know Google. Anytime a company, and this is a moat right here. We talked about moats a little bit last week. Anytime a company can have something in general, and you use their name as that general thing, that's a moat. It's like, hey, go Google it. Okay? That's a moat. All right? If it's, my wife does this. She goes, honey, I want some Tylenol. Okay? Tylenol is acetaminophen. And it is the exact same ingredients as the ones that say acetaminophen. Okay? And I tell her that all the time. And she goes, I don't care. I want Tylenol. Okay? That's a moat. Can I tell her if she's wrong or right? No. That's a grown woman. If she wants Tylenol, what am I going to do? Okay, honey, I'm going to pay a little bit more and just go get you that name brand. That's the same thing, same ingredients as this other, but I'm going to pay a little bit more and I'm going to get you your Tylenol. That's a moat. Square, they own, you guys use it every day, Cash App. Buying what you know, I'm telling y'all, it's been killing it. I don't see why it won't keep killing it. Think about this. On any business, what does a business need in order to make a lot of money? What does a business need? Okay, this is what a business needs. It could be your business, my business, or some of these businesses that we're investing in. What a business needs is it needs to recognize and acknowledge a need. Okay, so once it's recognized and acknowledged that need, then they need to come up with a way to answer that need. Apple's been killing it. Because guess what? They answered that need. They got it all right there. They put companies out of business. You guys remember you used to have all these GPS systems and all that kind of stuff? Garmin, that was what they were called, Garmin. Oh, Garmin. You can pick up your phone now and it's got GPS on it for free. I mean, so they killed a lot of people. CRISPR, you know what I think about that? That's one is kind of trading sideways now. I'm sitting on it because if I'm right, then it's going to buy a piece of property for me. Nvidia, IT company, overseas. I like them. Stock went down a little bit today because I think it was Intel and somebody else. I forget. A couple of the big companies were like, "Oh, we don't like what you're doing here, blah 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 blah. You trying to stick us up?" Guess what? They still got to come back to them because the technologies that the GPU technologies that they have a dominant position. So, and that's why you want to do your work so that if there's negative news, you've already done your work. And I know that there's a big demand for GPUs, and I know that these guys are holding a dominant position. So it's one of those things where it's like, you know what? You can come to me now, or you can come to me later. You guys don't want to do it? Guess what? GM and Ford, they said they're short stuff. Let me call them. So I think they'll be fine. Applied Materials, oh man, woo, research them. Love that company, love it. Bilibili is another company over in China that they're getting their share. Constellation Brands, Constellation Brands, they're involved in cannabis, and they're making money in cannabis in a lot of different ways. And they're solid, their books are good. And so that's another one of those as it starts to become more and more accepted, you know, you get the big established ones that will definitely go along. ASM Holdings, another overseas company, research it. I like it. Canaan, a little smaller one. Great technologies going over there. Tesla, you guys don't need me to tell you anything about them. I think, you know, Elon Musk is kind of a eccentric whatever. We can't have lunch, but I do recognize him as being the smartest one in the room. I will say that about him. So, you know, if you can't fight him, join him. And I'll tell you something else, that stock, it's been volatile. It will continue to be volatile, but somebody can literally get some now and hold it for 10 years and they'll be like really, 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 really happy. They're making some serious moves. The guy really is brilliant. Even just some of his accounting and stuff like that. He is so sharp. I mean, even like, okay, this past week, they took $1.5 billion of their liquid cash on hand, walking around money. I think I talked about a little bit earlier this week, and put it in Bitcoin, okay? So first of all, you're getting in before all the big boys, okay? It's listed as currency. It's probably gonna go crazy, all right? So that's that much more profitable your company is, okay? And then added to that, all the cool and creative accounting and things like that, because the way a lot of the accounting works on that is, let's say if he's wrong about it going up and it goes down, he can write that off on his taxes. Okay, so it's saving money there. Let's just say it goes up like crazy. The way he has it in his account, he's not paying taxes on it. The dude he's smart. I think he's kind of a jerk myself, but he's a smart jerk. I mean, if you think about it, old dude at Apple, he was a jerk, but he was a smart jerk. He's smart enough jerk. I bought his book and read it, okay? Bank of America, they're gonna always make money, all different types of ways, and I'm not gonna go too deep into that. PayPal, smoking now, they're gonna keep smoking. PayPal, they're visionaries. Think about this, you guys. All this big, this eBay stuff from a while back or whatever. Who were they connected with? That could make all this stuff easy for you. PayPal. So all these places in fintech where they make things easier for you, who's there? They are, okay? Remember we talked about that? Recognize a problem, find a solution for it, make it easy for people. That's not even hard. Thank you very much. I gave that to you for free. Shopify. You guys, that's another one. Peter Lynch type stock. A lot of you guys are using Shopify or you're hearing about it. And they're visionaries too. There's a whole lot more people that are doing and will be doing what we're doing, and that is creating various streams of income. Okay, so if you're creating various streams of income, you can't ignore them. You can't ignore them at all because they're right there. They got touring sessions, they help you set up shops, all kind of things. And something else that they're doing is they're actually investing a lot of money into small Black businesses, because I'm not the only one saying that, hey, we gotta do for ourselves. Other people in different cities and towns are saying that. And so, a lot of Black people are realizing, you know what, just working for the man, giving them everything, there's gotta be a better way. And so you got more people getting the courage to go out on their own, and Shopify knows that. They're gonna participate in it. Delta, we've already talked about that. Ford is getting beat up now. The shares of the stock really is about $11 per share. I think they're gonna be fine. There's another one of those that's like too big to fail. Is it ever gonna move up big and down big? No, but remember, I said I like to have some of those anchors. I know quite a bit about the inner workings of Ford, and as far as I'm concerned, I don't think that they're gonna go anywhere. I really don't. Tesla is kicking their butt, but they're kicking everybody's butt. But still, America needs Ford. And to me, I think they're smarter than GM and they're smarter than Chrysler. So they're here for the long run. Plug Power, they'll stay in popular. All the EV vehicles and everything, they need that. So these guys, that's another one that's just not going anywhere. Alibaba, I don't even know if I said that right, but the big, huge multinational Chinese company, man, I mean, they're so dominant that even the Chinese government is thinking about, well, they're speaking, oh, well, we don't want them to have a monopoly or whatever. And then they're like, wink, 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 wink. They're not going anywhere. And any of you guys that are ordering anything from China, guess what? They probably got something to do with it. Taiwan Semiconductors. Woo, you're welcome. Check them out. Check them out. Don't let the name fool you. They're cold, all right? And they're kicking butt. And they know what they're doing. When you guys get a chance, just study Taiwan, the country. That country is very progressive. They're very educated, very technologically advanced. Remember, America's not the center of the universe anymore. This company is getting in Intel's butt, okay? Intel used to be the dominant one, and Intel is worried. They don't even sleep well now. Veru, that's another one of my little discoveries that I sat on, and boom, bounced this week. So check that one out also. Riot Blockchain, they invest in like all the Bitcoin mining and things like that. So think about it. What happens is the higher Bitcoin price goes, and I think the diminishing returns line on that was somewhere around, I think, $4,000, okay, per coin. And right now it's around $48,000. So basically, in essence, what that means is that if somebody invests in mining a Bitcoin, okay, they need to cross that, okay? So if they have, anything under that line or whatever, or anything over that line is profitable for them, okay? It's profitable for them. So if it costs them $4,000 and they just mine a coin that's $48,000 and going to the moon, guess what? You got more and more and more and more and more of these companies, individuals, countries starting to mine for it. And think about this. Back in the gold rush in California, you hear all these stories, oh, they're going all the way out to California and get rich in gold and get rich in gold and get rich in gold, okay? All right, look at the facts. Who really did get rich in gold? Not that many 49ers, not that many prospectors, but a whole lot of the businesses that sold the material and the supplies got rich. Boom! That's what blockchain does. You're welcome. I'm not going to go through all the EDFs right now. I don't have time, but at least anybody that wants it, she'll send you guys all these slides. But you guys just highlight a couple. I got 3 ARC funds in there. Kathy Wood is my favorite analyst. She's my favorite. I mean, literally. I got my phone set to where if she's speaking, I'm hearing it. Okay, I got it set to if she's speaking, I'm hearing it. I really like her a lot, and she's got the track record to prove it. She's not just talking. Keep in mind that her ARC Disruptive Innovation Fund last year, the fund did 174%. That's like crazy. That's like crazy. A fund did 174%. That's crazy. And so, I started looking into this, and I'm like, that's just got to be just blind luck. It's got to be blind luck. Okay, but the more you listen to her, you can see that fund in particular, what she is attempting to do is to get out in front of some of these disruptive, innovative technologies, okay? Because if you can do your research, dig them up, turn over all the rocks, use your discernment, and if you're right, oh my God, it's 174%. And you know what? It's actually more than that. Let's think about that. Okay, CRISPR, for example, is in her portfolio. Okay, and CRISPR, I mean, it's going up some, but it hasn't been going crazy. But it's things like that she's sitting on, I'm sitting on, because when they pop, they take everything up. So if it's, I haven't counted how many positions she's got there, but let's say she's got 80. I don't know. But say if she's got 80 positions in there, or 40, 50, whatever, okay? Well, you're going to have a lot of lag. Some that didn't do anything and some that went down a little bit. So to take the whole portfolio up 174, you're really hitting big. And so that's what she does, is she researches all these things and she sees what's coming. And a lot of them you don't have to be Einstein to know about. All you have to be is just open your eyes. I mean, like artificial intelligence, we see how China's just killing it. on that stuff. And I know for a fact, coming from the car industry, that Tesla has had these vehicles driving by themselves for years now. Most of y'all didn't even know it. They're on the highway right now. I'm not making that up. And basically what they're doing is they're trying to work out the bugs because they want to protect themselves from a liability perspective. Because if you got this car and there's no driver and it's got somebody in the back seat guess what? Google didn't change something or whatever, and it drives off a cliff and they get sued. Okay, they're trying to work that stuff out. But still, like I said, artificial intelligence works in so many ways. Eventually they'll get that stuff worked out. And even if they don't get worked out, you'll sign so many disclosures before you even get in that if something like that happens, you can't sue them anyway. All right? Because they think about all of that stuff. So Kathy Wood with ARC, I love her. And then MSTR, I gave that to you guys last week. That went up crazy this week. I forgot, I took some profits there, and dollar cost average back in is going to be crazy, continue to go crazy. MSTR, okay? And I told my daughters, like, you guys, start listening to this guy, because what he is doing, he's positioning himself to where Bitcoin, for example, there are a lot of companies in the United States of America, they're not allowed to buy Bitcoin. It's not registered with the SEC, boom, 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 all of that, okay? But at the same time, they got their clients calling them and saying, y'all need to put some of that in my account. My neighbor's over here just taking pictures, of his accounts, showing me all the money he's making, and I'm not making it because you guys don't have me invested there. So do what you need to do. I don't care. I'm sending all my money to you, so make some money for me. So they're under pressure because some of these people are like, you know what? Okay, you can call it whatever you want to call it. You can call it your compliance, this or that, but you're not making money. I'm taking my money back. Okay, so you have some of that money leaving these funds. So think about it. These hedge funds, what are they about? Okay, they're about retained assets. They want as many people sending money to them as possible. Okay, and so when they're leaving, there's pressure on them. All right, so basically, you set up this Bitcoin trust, ETF, whatever you want to call it, all right? And you're the middleman, all right? So some of these big companies like Mass Mutual, it's an insurance company that is not supposed to be invested in anything speculative. Read about Mass Mutual and how much Bitcoin that they bought through other people. So they're holding this big position in it. And another one that's not even on here is Greystone. Greystone Bitcoin Trust is a monster. I just have not had the opportunity to buy it yet, but you guys study that. Greystone Bitcoin Trust is a monster. You can't buy everything. And also keep in mind, even though I love it and love what it's doing and all of that, I still have to have some disciplines in place. You get down here to VU, and that's a standard, that's Vanguard's S&P 500 index, and I've had index funds since my first kid was born. And I'll never get away from not having some of those, even though I think that I can outperform them. I still like having some of them in because you don't have to do anything. You just watch it, and if you're right, and it is a continuous bull market, index funds are going to automatically make money. So I'll look through that, and you guys will see that I have some artificial intelligence ones. I have funds. I have various technology ones and just things like that, or real estate. Got one on uranium too. Don't forget about that. URA. And you're like, well, why uranium? Well, think about it. First of all, uranium, there's scarcity there. And what is uranium used for? Uranium is used to build nuclear things, whether it's weapons or other things regarding nuclear. And it will just always be in demand. So that's like one of those, it's like, yeah, you don't want to sleep on it. Okay, so what am I doing on time? Oh, I really got to wrap it up. Okay, let me just zip through this last one. So as far as my current asset allocation, you already saw that. I'm, like 50% in crypto, which is considered really high, but you know my thinking on that. Downturn opportunities. What I call downturn opportunities. We're going to get to that point, you guys, when you start building your portfolios. And one of the things that I would encourage folks to get to that point is to find at least 20 companies that you think you might want to check into. And what you do is then one by one, you do your research. Okay, one by one, you do your research and formulate your opinion. And so you'll have some that you'll already be invested in, all right? And you'll probably have some others that, you couldn't buy them all, okay? You're not invested in, but you like them, okay? And so basically, this is a list of companies that right now I don't own, I have owned. I've owned all these. I've owned Pfizer, Tencent, Biogen, Walmart, AMD, Microsoft, Johnson, everything on this list I've owned before. Moderna, all of them I've owned. And some of them I've come out of. Pfizer had a nice run up, so I took profits. Right, you know what, and so forth. Different ones. So they're on my list here because remember how I told you that if things go the way I think that they might go, and so you have it the bear market with the violent corrections. Well, okay. So what's your plan when those violent corrections happen? What's your plan? Okay. So my plan is the same as Warren Buffett's. Companies that I like are on sale. Microsoft is a heck of a good company. I mean, if I had $1 billion, I'd already own it. Advanced Micro Devices, they're another company that's starting to just give Intel all kind of grief. Semiconductors, I don't really see how, if it's a high quality, well-run semiconductor company, I don't really see how they can lose money. Now, if you got some fake Jake, as my wife would call it, some like fake Jake company or something, right. But I mean, when you're talking, Intel, Advanced Micro Devices, Taiwan Semiconductors, I mean, those are solid companies. And, they're solid companies. So if there's a correction and they go down, really? Do you have to be that smart? So if they were good today and just through whatever news happened and the market went down 15%, that company has not changed, okay? That's why Warren Buffett is a multi-billionaire. This is what Warren Buffett says. He says, the stock market is a place where impatient people give money to patient people. So, Walmart, you know what I think about Walmart? Stock anyway. It's not going anywhere. Biogen, I've liked Biogen for 40 years. It was a long time, whatever the 1991 is that 40 years? Yeah. 30 years ago? Whatever. 30 years ago. Whatever. Anyway, tired. I didn't get enough sleep last night. I've always liked them. They're a solid biotech company. They're not going anywhere. The reason why I would like to buy them on weakness is in case they pop, because they're working on some Alzheimer's drugs. And you guys got to remember, baby boomers like me, they call it a pig through a python, okay? Because there's more of us, okay? Because people came back home from the wars, guess what they were doing, okay? And so we were all born, and so there's more of us. And so in my generation, whatever is happening for people my age affects the country, okay? So it's whatever us baby boomers need, it affects the country. That's why they call it the pig in the python, because it's just moving along like that. So guess what? We're going to be senior citizens now, you know, a lot of them getting Alzheimer's, things like that. So I think their Alzheimer's drug in the second stage. I don't know if they'll ever get past the final stages or not, and I'm not going to pretend like I do, because you hear different mixed news on it. But even without that, if I could get a good price on that company, I like it. I followed him for, like I said, what, 30 years. So I know all about him. I'm comfortable holding Biogen regardless of what the market does. Now, given that, I know all about the company. I'm comfortable with them. I know they're not going anywhere. And what if they hit on that Alzheimer's medication? Ooh-wee, boom, to the moon. So that's why they're on my list for that. Moderna, Pfizer, and all of that, blah, blah, blah. Johnson & Johnson, Johnson & Johnson, solid. They're not going anywhere. Boom, 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 boom. Goldman Sachs. This is what I got to say about Goldman Sachs. Is one of the reasons why this will never probably make it to YouTube. They make money. They know how to make money. And they don't even really care how they make money. You know, some of it the right way, and some of it's a little shady, but they make money. So you know what? If I get the opportunity to buy them cheaper, I'll participate in that. And Boeing, remember I talked to you guys about the airlines? Boeing's a solid company. And Boeing's got a lot of behind the doors power, always has. They got politicians in their pockets, all of that, okay? So, if the airline business turns around, which I don't see why it won't, guess what? They do too. So I think that they'll be fine. We went right up to the time. All right, guys. Remember, Black Lion Investments is it's a investments education company, and it's targeted toward the underserved communities. We teach financial literacy and investments and so forth, in addition to other things. We are not a registered investment advisor. So always do your own research and never invest money that you cannot risk losing. So with that said, I still know more than they do. Questions? What questions do you guys have?
What about McDonald's and Coca-Cola as being giants in their industry?
That's a great question. That's a great question. And that's one that you want to do the Peter Lynch thing, okay? Because if it's something that you use, if you use Coke and if you use McDonald's, go back and go start to research them. Research McDonald's and research Coke. Just do it. And then once you do all your research, just decide if it's something that you're comfortable with and you want to be invested in, because it's never going to be one size fits all, and I don't have an opinion on either one of those because I haven't researched, Coke, at least in a long time, and I haven't researched McDonald's in a long time. I did hear the Burger King analyst on today, and you know, my spidey antenna told me it's like, run, Forrest, run. I mean, you could just tell that he just wasn't real confident in what he was saying. So McDonald's has made a lot of money. You know, we'll see. And like I said, I don't have an opinion on them. I will say this: one of the reasons why I did not research it, because I don't use McDonald's, and if I bring a Coke home, my wife might throw something at me. So you know, but you know, to each his own. Next question.
I got a quick question for you, James.
Okay.
When you're looking at real estate trusts to invest in, what are some things that you use or look at to determine whether it's a good or a bad one?
Is he frozen for y'all?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yes,
Yeah,
he is.
yes.
Hey,
Yes,
Uncle.
Rose.
Yeah, so you're talking, but we didn't catch any of that.
I thought he was just thinking.
No, you are using your device. Can you guys hear me or not?
You went
This
out.
thing, like,
Yeah,
I know
I think you
yeah,
went
I saw
out.
that. Yeah, I did. Okay, we were talking about, oh yeah, real estate trust and so forth. So yeah, you guys, and you know what, on those, they're
One
really,
second, excuse me. If you have something in your background, can you mute yourself, please and thanks?
so, so anyway, on the real estate trust, you know, I wish I could sugarcoat it for you, but I'm sorry, y'all just gonna have to put the work in on that, because there's a lot of busters out there. There's a lot of busters, and a lot of them are like hiding, losing properties and things like that. Like some of these malls and stuff are bad investments, because remember what I said earlier on, you know, I don't think some of those are not going to totally come back, and they already own that stuff. They're buried in it. They're trying to hide it. So the ones that you're looking in, make sure you also look and see what they're holding, and if it's something that you feel good about. Next question. Any more questions?
How do you find what they're holding?
I'm sorry?
How do you find what they're holding? You said look into it to see if they're holding something. How do you actually find? I know by research, but is there a method that you use? You're breaking up again.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Okay, there you are.
Public meetings is that their books are open to the public. And so, you know, for anyone who's resourceful enough, you can, it will only take, you can, just by Google, there'll be several places that will have it. I mean, I Google, I can Google innovative, okay, you know, trust, and it will literally all kind of different places I can go and I can look and see, and then what's going to happen. Little like this flashing stuff, oh, buy me, buy me, buy me, buy me. Eventually, probably go to things that you like where you can touch real fast. Do I pay for? Yeah, I pay for the Barons, but so you'll find something that you like, and then you can go. I mean, I can look through Barron's and it will tell me all of their holdings, and it will tell me what type of weight. In other words, what do they have the most of, and what do they only have? Next question. No more questions? All right. We pushed it on time again. I would apologize, but I'm not sorry because y'all need this. You know, we had a lot to cover, a lot of meat there. And I know some of you guys, you know, it might be slow digesting it, but that's cool, okay? Because this is the 5th class, and so we got 12 more. And so think about this. You guys are already starting to get a good taste of this after 5. And remember what I told you on the very beginning of the very first class. If you stay with this right here, and you guys please read your material, okay? Because I didn't just give you that material for no reason. If you guys do all of that, if you read your material, and if you hear you know, through the end, you're gonna be cold. I'm just gonna flat out say that. You're gonna be cold. You can hunt for yourself. You don't need to ask anybody, okay? You don't need to call Joe White Boy down the street, all right? He might need to call you, but you'll know what you're doing. And you're all gonna be, you guys will all be, you know, little lions out there hunting, Any more questions? All right, I'm up on against time. You guys know I answer my phone, so tomorrow if y'all want to text or call or something, that's cool, all right? We'll do that. You guys know I love you, all right? I love you, and I'll be praying for you. And, you know, you guys pray for me too, all right? Y'all go out there and kill it.
Love you. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your Valentine's Day.
You too.